Hi, y'all. So Karrueche Tran and Deion Sanders are back in the news. All right. Now, what you're watching here is a robbery in progress. All right. And I know that some of you believe that, age is just a number and all these little wonderful anecdotal statements about relationships. All right. But let me explain something to you. All right. Karrueche Tran was the same girl, if you remember, that was with Chris Brown. All right. And then they had their whole fallout and it was a public spectacle. All right. And Chris made some very glaring allegations about this young lady. All right. Which I'm not going to repeat because I'm not trying to get sued. However, is there any truth to what Chris said? All right. Now, let's go just on facts. All right. Here's a fact for you. Deion Sanders is almost 60 years old. All right. When Karrueche Tran, think about this, when she was in the ninth grade, Deion Sanders was about 35 years old. Okay. So it brings to question if she's with Chris Brown, who's literally maybe just a year older than her, why would she be with Deion Sanders? Is it for love? Well, if it is for love, for one, why Deion Sanders? Why not just some random 60-year-old guy on the street? Okay. Why not some random 60-year-old guy on the street? All right. If it was for love, why Deion Sanders? All right. And look, I never thought I can't believe I'm saying this. I never thought in my life I would agree with Antonio Brown about anything. All right. But I had to agree with his recent statements. All right. / mockery of Karrueche Tran. All right. She was crying in the hospital. All right. And in my opinion, if you believe these crocodile tears, all right, you should just go over there and pay Karrueche's rent and her car notes yourself. Okay. If you actually believe these tears, all right, that she was showing. All right. And basically, Deion had to have his bladder removed. Okay. Remember, he had his toes removed a while ago. All right. But guys, these are just, is this not clicking through to somebody? Because I'm sure there's somebody that's watching this and going, oh, he doesn't understand what real love is. And, sometimes people have a spiritual connection and you don't understand. Like, people can build a bond together and grow as people. And, you have to have the maturity to understand. Lady, please cut it out. All right. This is an armed robbery in progress. Okay. She's making sure that her bag is secured. I'm sorry, gang. I don't know what else to tell you. All right. She's making sure that her bag is secured. All right. And she's, in my opinion, says, well, it's just like the whole thing recently with Shannon Sharpe. All right. That girl is a predator. Okay. And she knocked Shannon right over the head for several millions of dollars. Okay. And, guys, especially, I know there has to be some red pill rich men that are listening. Okay. You guys know what's up. You're not dumb. All right. And, beat Shannon Sharpe for millions of dollars. Okay. And I'm sure at some point, Shannon genuinely believed that this girl loved him. He genuinely believed that this girl liked him. All right. Why wouldn't you? I mean, you think you're all that. You have all this money, you have all the cars, you're taking care of her, you're paying her bills. All right. She's getting her nails done. All right. All those songs, all those hip hop songs that talk about, oh, your man ain't nothing if he ain't taking care of you and paying your bills and taking care of your kids and all this stuff. All right. Yeah, he's doing all that. But guess what? He didn't get the end result that he thought he was going to get. Okay. Because all of that is a sham. Look, gentlemen, do you want me to speak honestly with you? Okay, let's just be blunt here. All right. If you are a man that is worth more than $150,000, I need you to get on a plane and go overseas and find somewhere, one, a woman that does not speak any English, and two, a woman that can cook and take care of the home and the family. All right. Because if that's her core values, if that's what she thinks is an accomplishment in life, then that's what you're going to get. Okay. You can't be with one of these brainwashed girls that watches the Kardashians all day. All right. That watches all these OnlyFans chicks. Let's just be honest. That's what they are. They're all just OnlyFans chicks. All right. And then they're getting brainwashed and told, oh yeah, girl, you got to go get that bag from that man. Yeah, girl. Oh yeah. My man bought me a G-Wagon. You don't, girl. I got my G-Wagon and I drove up out of there. All right. Ari Fletcher, all these booty shaking girls that really have nothing to offer. Okay. By the time they realize that they're dried up, guess what? Nobody wants you anymore, ma'am. So look, guys, please go find you you don't think you can find a Karrueche, a girl that looks 10 times as better as Karrueche? You go over to Malaysia. Do you know how many Karrueches are walking around in Malaysia right now that would just drop everything to serve you and cater to you and take care of you and treat you like the man that you are and you deserve? All right, because you can afford to take care of her family. I mean, look, living abroad, some of these countries, you can live like a king for $1,000 a month. All right. Instead of struggling in the States for $1,000 a month. So that's another thing to think about. All right. But look, guys, Deion, might be upset with me with this video. I'm sure he would, right? Anyone talking about your relationship, you're going to get upset. Okay. Naturally. Now, within a year's time, will Deion be upset with me still? No, absolutely not. I can promise you a year from now, they won't even be together. All right. And that's just the truth. Okay. Why would she want to be with Deion Sanders, brother? Why? Except for financial security. And now look, I'm going to play devil's advocate. All right. And I'm going to say, of course, well, GOAT News, you say all that, but what woman doesn't want financial security? What woman doesn't want financial stability? What woman doesn't want her bills paid? What woman doesn't want to get her nails and her toes taken care of every week? All right. What woman doesn't deserve that? Well, sweetheart, my question to you then is, what are you reciprocating to that man to deserve all of those things? And if your answer is, well, you're doing things in bed for him, well, ma'am, you're completely wasting his time, because instead of, you got to look at it as a financial investment. All right. If you just want to come down to that, let's look at it as a financial investment. Okay. Why would I want to pay you hundreds of thousands of dollars in bills and cars and all that stuff for something that wouldn't cost me that much elsewhere? I could go to the bar tonight and spend $200 on somebody's tab. All right. And they would go home and we would have a great time. Why then, ma'am, are you worth that type of money? What else do you bring to the table? All right. And all these girls are talking about, oh, well, I'm his piece. Girl, you're not his piece. Okay. You're constantly checking his phone. You're grilling him about girls here and there. I mean, look, to be honest with you, this is why Andrew Tate, in my opinion, and in many others' opinions, okay, is really speaking a lot of truth, because, ladies, I mean, come on, what else are you bringing to the table? That's all I want to know. But hey, man, look, if I happen to be incorrect and Karrueche and Deion happen to get married, okay, and they build a great future together, then I'll apologize. I'm man enough to say I'm sorry. All right. But if that doesn't happen, all right, guys, well, you know where you heard it first. Okay. Anyway, it's your boy GOAT News, man. Be safe. Please, gentlemen, respect yourself. All right. Donate some money to the poor. All right. If you're going to be throwing around hundreds of thousands of dollars, you should at least go outside, find poor people and just give them food. All right. Say, hey, look, can I put you in a hotel tonight? Go do things with your money that are actually benefiting the world. Okay. Because all these girls want to do is rob you blind. All right. So please, guys, just think about what I'm telling you. All right. It's your boy GOAT News. I'm out. Peace.